All right, boom. Welcome. Finally, another episode of Money Talks. Here we go. So we're testing a new streaming solution here today. So we had a little bit of a delay here. We had to create a new YouTube stream. So sorry for that. Let's get going. Hopefully, everybody will be able to see the recording since we have this on not only YouTube but Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, Twitter, blah blah blah. So all good there. Let's see. We got a lot to talk about. So as always, first thing I want to talk to you about is just what's going on with some price action. Basically, we are at exactly the same place we were at when we did Money Talks last week in terms of the big three crypto price wise. Bitcoin, and Ethereum in particular are more or less in the same channel, just kind of going sideways. I'll show you my trusty chart here. You can see basically here we are on the right at about 33. I think we're at like 33.6 or so, and that's basically where we were at, even on a month ago. So. Basically, I would say the way I look at this is we're in what we call an accumulation phase, okay? And an accumulation phase usually ends gradually. I wouldn't be surprised if we get, and again, this is tea leaves, it's not a technical analysis show. Wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of what I would call a head fake before we scream higher. But when I look at some of the on-chain analysis right now, it's basically weaker hands selling to stronger hands. And look, that in general is very positive, right? Long term. So, I've looked at some of the on-chain analysis from Will Clemente, Willy Woo. I guess there's a trend here. All these Bills, Wills, and Willies are telling me that on-chain things are looking reasonably bullish. Potentially short-term neutral, but very long-term bullish. And I have no no reason not to just call it as I see it. And I think they're right. If I thought they were wrong, I would tell you. But right now, I think I agree with their analysis. Okay, so that's just a quick update on price action. As I said, I tend not to make this about technical analysis. If you have questions in the live stream, happy to answer that. Luckily, a bunch of you have found the live stream. I've got a bunch of questions from Twitter. I'm going to take those. We have some folks from the Abra team joining me today, so we'll pull them in as we need them to help answer questions. Before I do the Q&A, though, a couple of things, right? So we announced that last week our 0% interest product is now live. So that means that you can borrow literally for 0% interest on certain types of loans with low LTVs. That's great. We've already seen many of you sign up for those loans. So keep it coming. Really excited about the response we've seen there. On the interest rate side for Abra Earn, we had a really good month in terms of deposits. We're still seeing very strong deposits into Abra Earn. So thank you for that and your continued support of the product there. That's been great. Rates have held pretty steady. Bitcoin and Ethereum are in that kind of 4 to 5% range. I think Bitcoin's at like high threes and Ethereum is at like 4 or 5, if I remember correctly. I think you see it on the screen there. And dollar rates are at about 8% now, and that's down a little bit from obviously the very high rates we were at earlier. But the 8% rate is again the best high quality rate in the business. It's how I manage all of my liquid cash, and so many of you have been taking advantage of this, moving from other service providers that have been lowering rates because Abra seems to have not only the best rates but the best risk management processes as well. And I get lots of questions about new coins. So we'll come back to that in a few minutes of Abra trading side to give you some ideas of what's coming down the pipe there. So that's all good. I'm just trying to think. Oh, so on the social media side, Please remember to click subscribe in the YouTube feed. Follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook. It really helps with managing our entire social media kind of presence and promotion via the powers that be. So a couple of quick news items that I'm seeing this week before we get into the questions. Let's see. So really interesting. Ethereum, the gas fees I saw last week have basically hit a 6-month low. Obviously, when the market cools off and volatility comes down, on-chain transactions tend to follow suit. We peaked at I think it was like a $50 on-chain transaction fee, and now we're at a couple of dollars. So that's a huge change. Now I fully expect that if the market screams higher before the upgrade is done, that we're going to be back to $50 to $60 gas fees again. So I'm still equally bullish today as I was earlier on the whole Ethereum 2.0 upgrade. Polygon has been killing it, which I think it's really interesting as a layer 2 solution, something I would love to add in Abra in the future. So those of you who've been asking about that. And there's been a lot of talk about this whole MEV concept, cumulative maximal extractable value, which we'll talk more about in coming episodes, but it's basically the amount of money a miner on Ethereum stands to make as kind of a direct result of their ability to insert, leave out, or reorder transactions within a block. And this has declined significantly since the beginning of June, and is still a little bit above 700 million. So so interesting stuff going on Ethereum. And there's a couple of interesting conferences that I listened in on this week on Ethereum. The other thing of note is that it looks like Ethereum, the number of active addresses has surpassed Bitcoin's for the first time. Bitcoin's active addresses fell, I think, about 60% in the last kind of 4 to 6 weeks, which is an astounding number. Certainly, it's short-term bearish for Bitcoin, but on the other hand, it looks like the retail numbers have improved significantly in the last few days, and then at the same time, it looks like there's a lot of stronger hands that we're already holding, which are buying up quickly anything that kind of dips, which I think is why we've stayed in this accumulation phase for the last 6 weeks or so. So that's interesting. Let's see what else is in the news. Let's see here. Cardano, I think, is getting close to releasing their smart contract upgrade, which would be really interesting and very well timed. I don't think it's necessarily going to be like either Cardano or Ethereum or Solana or Binance chain. I think a lot of them will have their own kind of use cases over time, just like Wax has carved out a niche for itself in NFTs. I wouldn't be surprised if Cardano gets a niche in certain enterprise applications, for example, given its potential for scalability. And Ethereum tends to be used for more kind of like DeFi and retail-oriented applications. So that's really exciting to me. We'll see how that plays out. And so lots of interesting news. China, right? So the revenue for Bitcoin and Ethereum miners was down by about 50% in June versus May. Prices came down accordingly. Miners are shutting off in droves. We're seeing blocks take upwards of 20 minutes on occasion. We're going to catch up in terms of the difficulty on the proof of work, which will come down significantly when the difficulty level auto adjusts in the next several hours, I believe this weekend. And, the blocks will have to come fast and furious in order to catch up. So that's going to be interesting. Ethereum miners revenue came down again, 50 to 55%. And the revenue there was about $1 billion in June, but it was versus over 2 billion in May. So but again, to be clear, it's still significantly higher than we were even last December, which saw record revenue levels. So to be clear, these miners are still making a lot of money. It is very profitable to mine proof of work chains still, Bitcoin and Ethereum. So don't see that changing in the short term. And I think given the changes in China, I think there's a huge opportunity in the U.S. For mining. In Europe as well, if the regulators stay out of the way, and we'll see what happens there. So let's see. So that's some kind of current market news. Let's see. I'm getting this question constantly about can we add digibytes to the Abra Earn product? Let me just address that really quick, since I get that question all the time. And so we would love to add every cryptocurrency in our app to Abra Earn. Now, obviously, Digibyte is extremely popular amongst the Abra audience, but we can only add tokens to Abra Earn if there is strong lending demand on the institutional side in particular, possibly on the retail side, but we don't lend cryptocurrencies on the retail side for legal reasons yet. But on the institutional side, there's simply no demand for certain altcoins yet. I hope that changes in the future, or there may be DeFi services that we can take advantage of, and maybe Ben can come in a little while and talk about that on our show. So again, would love to add Digibyte. We don't see the institutional demand yet that would enable us to add Digibyte yet. Let me talk about Cardano ADA. A lot of questions about whether we would add ADA to Abra Earn. That's actually the most requested token to add to Abra Earn. I would say Digibyte and XRP are probably neck and neck for 2 and 3. So for ADA, we're definitely going to add it. We can generate the yield via DeFi and other staking means, and we're confident that we can offer a high quality product there. The biggest issue there is working with our custody providers on the banking side to get them to support Cardano. And so as soon as they do that, and we've been pushing them as hard as we can to get that done for you, then we can add it to the app for earning yield and via the backend staking. So stay tuned for Cardano. Definitely want to get it in there, and we'll get it in as fast as we can. Okay. All right. So let's see. What else? A bunch of questions here. So there's a bunch of go Yankees. Thanks, RB. I'm a longtime Yankee fan. I live in California, but from New York. By the way, I hear that the heat wave on the coast in New York and up in Seattle, Portland is out of control. It's actually been surprisingly cool here in California. So those of you who are in the middle of that heat wave, I hope you're all safe. And I know we have a lot of people from other international markets where it's always hot. So yeah. So Christian asked about the bringing back the 10.5% APY. As I said earlier, the interest rate right now has gone down to 8%. Ben, why don't you join us and we can talk about how we set rates. But let me just comment on this for a minute, and then Ben, please chime in if you can. We take a very conservative approach. It may not seem like it when you look at, well, Abra's offering 8% or 10% rates. That seems really high compared to banks. But in reality, what we're doing in the background between our efforts via DeFi for generating yield and institutional lending to generate yield are actually wrought with very conservative risk management processes. So yeah, and as a result, we look every day at interest rates, and we won't kind of chase yield opportunities that we deem either risky or put your principal and capital at unnecessary risk. And as a result, we've managed to maintain the best high quality rates in the space. And like I said, I keep 100% of my personal crypto and cash that's liquid in there, and we're fully committed to that. Ben, you want to chime in?
Thing, yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Good
I
morning.
missed the audio test.
Yeah.
Sure. So maybe a helpful starting point is just to understand how we work with institutional counterparties who comprise the largest proportion of our yield generation.
Yeah.
Uh,
And so
uh,
by yield generation, we mean how we set rates in English, just for our consumers.
I like
Yeah.
to speak sophisticated.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
We'll keep it simple for you today, everyone. I know it's Friday, so.
um, So, largely allocated to institutional loans to be able to support the kind of rates that you see today for 8% on stablecoin, 3.6% on Bitcoin. As well, we accomplish a little bit of yield enhancement through very conservative deployments inside of DeFi strategies, which I think Bill alluded to earlier, as well as other opportunities for funding and achieving exchange rates. Our institutional loan book again is the largest driver to support the kind of rates that you see inside of our app. We work with large institutional counterparties. These tend to be brokerages, software platforms, trading desks, and we look at them in the basis of three tiers of risk. Bucketing them into category one, we're typically looking at sort of the largest diversified businesses with balance sheets greater than $1 billion, net equity greater than $100 million. These tend to be sort of the biggest names in crypto institutional investing. You probably see research reports from them published from time to time and the like. Category two tends to be sort of the medium tier of participants in the crypto ecosystems. So this tends to be large hedge funds, prop trading firms, balance sheets over $200 million, net equity in excess of $50 million. Finally, category three, these tend to be sort of more upstart entities. These are smaller prop shops, hedge funds, and others in the ecosystem less than $200 million balance sheet, net equity under $50 million. The nature of these guys is we're oftentimes working with them on a fully collateralized basis, investing the time and energy to build a relationship with the anticipation that that we're working with players that are increasingly going to become in the span of months or the medium term, very quickly sort of those category two type players. They're often very fast growing. As of today, we're over 80% of category. Our portfolio of institutional loans is greater than 80% category one, 15% or thereabouts category two, and under 5% of allocated to category three. So it's definitely something where accomplishing, a focus on risk management, something I pay attention a lot to make sure that when we're generating yield, we're doing so in a sustainable.
Cool. And how do you think about DeFi's role over the next few weeks and months in terms of generating yield for consumers?
That's a great question. Right now, because in particular, we're seeing a lot of trading opportunities diminish for our counterparties that comprise, again, so much of the institutional loan book, that finding yield enhancements through DeFi strategies is just, it's been a major buffeting factor to sustaining the kinds of yields that we accomplish in the Abra book today. So I would definitely say, it's a very important contributor.
Mm-hmm.
It's also something that has to be managed carefully, particularly on account of the fast-growing evolution of the space. So it's something when we look at participating in these opportunities more directly, we're basically only choosing the very most conservative implementations, right? This is using protocols with TVLs, in excess of $5 billion. Right? This is, participating, seeking opportunities without any risk of impermanent loss. So this is really something where at the end of the day, I think the high yielding headline returns that people talk about in DeFi is less relevant, less our focus than sort of more lower risk, more consistent style returns implemented again in the most well-established DeFi pools and protocols.
Awesome. Really helpful. Thanks a bunch for that. We'll come back to yield and risk management and et cetera, et cetera. But I think, for me, one of the most common questions is why would I put my Bitcoin in an account like Abra to earn a few percent versus just putting it in cold storage? And for me, the name of the game is twofold. It's protecting my Bitcoin and stacking as many sats as we say as possible. It's that simple. And every Bitcoin I can earn, right, is going to be huge for my future. And so to me, because I'm intimately familiar with how Abra works, I'm very happy to put my Bitcoin to work in a service like that. And that's why we do shows like this, where we can answer your questions and dig in on the details. Okay. So next question that I think we need to talk about is, Lala, we've been getting a lot of questions about TRX and what's been happening with all of these deposits piling up. Can you just fill everybody in on what's going on? We have a lot of people who are anxiously waiting for their TRX deposits. So fill us in on what's going on there and why there's been this delay.
Sure. So as some of you may or may not know, which is why this is a great time to talk about it, when you hold funds, of course, into your trading account with Abra, that is actually held by Bittrex. So if there is an issue, which in this case there happens to be an issue with the Trax wallet that Bittrex, of course, manages. Because of that, there is a delay. So we highly encourage you, of course, to reach out to us, because with every user who reaches out to us, we create an incident for them to track. So even though they are currently working on this, they're making sure they're sweeping everyone's transactions that are currently delayed, just in case it maybe for some reason is missed. We can go back and say, hey, what about this one? This one didn't go into their wallet. Please go ahead and look into it further. So if you have not reached out to us at support@abra.com, please do so, and we'll be happy to go and create an incident specifically for you.
Great. Thank you for that. And so obviously, we want to get that taken care of as soon as possible. So thanks for that, Lala. Let's see. I've got a lot of questions piling up here. I was taking those from YouTube. Let me go to my Twitter feed here and see. When will we hear about the Abra Stellar partnership? Good question. That's something that we're actively working on. As a matter of fact, it's a lot of kind of legal work for the product that we're trying to launch with them. And so stay tuned for that. It is actively being worked on our end. And we're working with certain regulators on that. Nothing to announce yet, except to say we are actively working on it. We have not forgotten you. And our friends at Stellar are also eagerly awaiting that. Will I ever add ADA to the earned account? We talked about that earlier. Yes, it's very high on our priority list. We're waiting for our bank and custody partners to support it. We can only release for Abra Earn what they're able to custody. And so they're not fully live with Cardano yet, but hopefully they will be soon. Let me take a break from questions really quick and talk about our public mint partnership. So really cool announcements. I believe the first of many. We announced that we're working with this company called Public Mint. Basically, it's what I would call kind of a DeFi solution that will allow you to earn yield on your holdings, and they're going to work with Abra as a key partner for their yield generation. And so we're really excited about that. And that's something that we plan on doing a lot more of. And we have other partners that we'll be announcing, actually a couple that that you all know, and hopefully many of you already use, that are also going to be using Abra for yield generation. So this is something that we're really focusing on more of. Christian, you don't need to keep posting on the 10.5% yield. We hear you. It is something, like I said, that we want to do. Again, it's all about risk management. So eventually, we will, moving rates hopefully higher, but we don't chase yield irresponsibly. Okay, and that's one of the reasons why why these great folks at Public Mint decided to partner with Abra. They looked at our risk management processes and said, hey, this is the best company in the space, and these are the people we want to partner with to generate yields. So thanks for that. And Denny asks, did we announce the 100K Bitcoin winner yet? We did not. It's going to take a while to tally everyone's individual trading volumes in order to create those entries and then choose a winner at random. My guess is it'll take us at least a few days to do that. So stay tuned for that. And we'll certainly be announcing the winner on social media. Shout out, I see people here from Philippines and Guatemala. Shout out to you all as well. Somebody asked what our relationship with Invesco in Guatemala is. They are a partner of ours in a couple of countries now, Guatemala, soon El Salvador, and other places, for processing deposits, both in cash as well as via bank accounts. So if you're using the Abra app, you see an option there to deposit locally in those markets, probably being processed via Invesco. So let's see. RB asked, is there a timeline for having accounts for minors, i.e. children? No, we don't offer that today, but it is something I would love to do as somebody who has a minor child. My two older ones are now using Abra because they're of age, but my youngest son would love to use Abra, and it's something that I would love to do. We have to work with our partners on that, but it should be doable via sub accounts, as you pointed out. And so no timeline for that, but it's definitely, we'll take the feedback for sure. Let's see. I love the Ahsoka poster. Also, good morning to all you beautiful people. Good morning to you as well. Shiba Inu. All right. I don't get enough questions on why we don't list Shiba Inu. So I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, or if there is a right way to pronounce it. But Shiba Inu is another kind of meme coin, and I'm sure some of you won't like my kind of depiction of meme coins a la Doge, but that's what it is. And obviously, it's getting a ton of social media attention right now, and we would love to list it. It's simply a question of our exchange partners that Lala mentioned, and also our legal review. But assuming that happens, then once they list it, then we'll list it, and that pretty much goes for all the top tokens that you're all clamoring for, and you should keep pushing us on that and use the app. There's a feature in the app that will allow you to request tokens. So when you go to add token and you don't see the token that you want there, there's a feature that will allow you to request that specific token. Okay. All right. So let's see what else here. More questions. Let me go back to Twitter. See what other questions. I talked about Cardano. What do I think that inflation will have an impact on stablecoins? Well, to the extent that inflation will impact the dollar itself, it will impact stablecoins. Over time, inflation means that the dollar is worth less and can buy less. And that the stablecoin, because it's a representation in digital form of the dollar, should lower in value on purchasing parity basis accordingly. So that's my take on that. And we've talked about the differences between Tether and USDC. I'm really excited and really happy to see USDC doing so well. It shows that there really is a market for a well-run, regulated, well-managed stablecoin project. So kudos to Jeremy and the team at Circle. Really bullish on what they're doing there. It's great. Will we have a website for exchanging with limit and stop orders, and have that in the app? So let me address the two different questions. So yes, we will add advanced order types this year. It's something that we've been working on. And I've talked about this, but getting the user experience right is number one priority. But yes, we will have limit orders for sure, market orders, and hopefully stop orders this year. In terms of website for Abra, it's something that we're looking at. We get a lot of requests for this. Believe it or not, it's actually a little complicated given how we use the private key on the phone, but it's something we will get done eventually. And keep the requests coming because it tells us and shows us that you all want that. So we take the input and requests very, very seriously. So somebody asks, can we have instant deposits? I'm going to assume that this is a US person asking about ACH deposits. So let me talk about ACH for a moment. So let me bring up my trusty Abra app here. I'm going to go into demo mode in a second. So in the Abra app, and I'm going to start the app. Hopefully you can see it. I'm going to start my app, and if I go to add money, click on add money, you see under ACH, it says that our limit is now up to $20,000 a day. So that's huge news. We also now support Capital One banks, which is probably 10 to 15% of you in the US, based on our experience before. So that's also really big news. The other thing is we're testing instant funding for a subset of you. Not everyone will see this. It's kind of random. So don't worry if you're not getting it. There's no reason other than that it's a little bit random. So I don't know, Lala, if you want to add anything on ACH or instant funding or what's going on there, feel free to chime in. But we're really happy with the improvements and constant improvements we're seeing there. Are there any other kind of common questions we're getting on the funding that we should address? Sorry to put you on the spot.
No worries. I mean, of course, we always have a ton of questions regarding deposits. I'm glad that you pointed this out, right? This is something our team has been working for a while now to go ahead and get up and running. So all of you people who originally had Capital One and it was gone for a bit, it is now back. Please go ahead and try and re-add. And if you're having any issues, definitely let us know so we can go ahead and report it back to them. The common questions, of course, with ACH is the amount of time, right? Most of the time you are going to see it same day. There may be a little bit of a delay, of course, depending on weekends or holidays. We also want you definitely to keep in mind, even if you, of course, see it in app, it may take a little bit of time to reflect on your bank. ACH tends to take about 2 days-ish. And again, that definitely depends on the holiday. If you are in the US, that's a perfect example. If you initiate today, it may go through today, but it may not show up on your bank's end until Tuesday because Monday is a holiday here. So just keep that in mind. With wires, of course, which I know is right below that, definitely always keep in mind there is a particular final to credit, which I know, I know Bill, Bill's going to show it. If you want to send him money, that's how you do it.
I would discourage you. Well, I might encourage you for using these instructions, but your money will go to me. So please, so everyone who sees this, please keep in mind that final to credit account is specific to Bill's wallet, which is why it is extremely important that when you view yours, that number at the bottom is specific to your wallet, which is why it's so important. Please follow these instructions to the letter, include the final credit to account. Every once in a while, somebody forgets and we don't even know that you did a deposit at that point. And Lala and her team have to go to the bank and track it down, and it can take literally days and weeks. So follow the instructions, the money will arrive quickly, and it's all good. Okay, so thanks for that, Lala. So let's move on to some more questions. Oh, here's an interesting one. Can we get a loan with Litecoin collateral? So the app right now directly supports Bitcoin and Ethereum as collateral. We might be able to help you on a one-off basis. You could send an email to, I think, Bennett's trading@abra.com. Not that I get that address right. Maybe we can take a look at your requirements. But right now, officially, we support Ethereum and Bitcoin. If you do have a strong need for a loan that you want to take out via Litecoin, contact us at tradingatabra.com, and we'll see if we can help you directly, but not officially there quite yet. And let's see what else. Oh, when is the Abra credit card coming soon? When am I going to have an Abra debit card? Where's the Abra debit card? So that's like the same question I got like 6 times so far today. Look, nobody wants a card as much as I do. I'm not going to pre-announce anything except to say we hear you loud and clear on this issue. And there's lots of people at Abra who hear you loud and clear on this issue. So maybe that will be an interesting second half gift. We'll see. Let's see. Somebody asking if I sold my Tesla yet. So as I said, my Tesla is permanently up for sale. The ask is 2 Bitcoin, which I think is a great deal. I think it's worth more than that right now, but I'll gladly take 2 Bitcoin off your hands for it. And if you're within a couple hundred miles, I might even deliver it. So all joking aside, I am not really happy with Elon right now, but hopefully he'll tweet responsibly going forward. By the way, speaking of tweeting responsibly, I don't know if you've been paying attention to this kind of Bitcoin Mining Council group that my friend Michael Saylor started. It's been really interesting. They've taken, I think, a very good, healthy approach to communicating to the public what's been going on behind the scenes. They're claiming that by their estimates, at least for their piece of the mining world, that we're at about 56% clean energy based Bitcoin production at this point, which is pretty impressive. I don't know of any other industry that would make that claim right now. And I'm not talking about carbon credits and offsets. I'm actually talking about the real energy production. A lot of the carbon offsets are kind of nonsense if you actually dig in what's going on. But so that's pretty impressive. And if you're going to tweet about stuff, hopefully you take some facts and tweet about that, and not just let me stop the share here, but not just, kind of hyperbole, right? So that was super interesting to me. Let's see, we've got some more questions. Let me go back, switch back to the YouTube feed. Again, if you're waiting on a TRX, I see some other people waiting on deposits. Do go ahead and contact support via the app. As we mentioned, we're aware of the issue. It's not on our end, and we're working on it. So another question: can we do loans via XRP? Doug, same response. Send us an email with your requirements. It's possible we can support you. Tradingatabra.com, and we'll take a look at it. But right now, we only officially support Bitcoin and Ethereum. So all good there. Let's see. Tim is asking about comments on the rates again. So Tim, we already spent several minutes on that. We don't irresponsibly chase yield. We don't subsidize rates. We know that some of our competitors are actually subsidizing interest rates. This is very irresponsible and very dangerous. So you're actually putting a lot at risk when you're subsidizing rates. So Tim, while we do hear you, please recognize that one, we have, I believe, the highest quality returns on stable coins in the business, and we'll see what happens from there. And somebody asks, if the U.S. raises interest rates, what do I think will happen to Bitcoin? And I think nothing will happen to Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin will be just fine. In terms of price, I think, we were in a rising rate environment for a while, and the price kept going up. So I don't think Bitcoin's future is necessarily dependent upon interest rates. I think the macros for what's happening are pretty clear. Let's see. What other questions? Doug asks, will we have XRP support back in the app? So, and just as a reminder, this only refers to the US. You can still use XRP in Abra outside the US. We have no word from our custody and trading partners as to when they might add XRP back. As I've said before, I suspect that it's going to be when the SEC case with Ripple resolves itself or gets resolved. And at that point, we would anxiously hope that they would add XRP back. again, it's not up to us. If it was up to us, it would be there today. Doug says ACH loves XRP. I get the points, and we would love to have it in there for you. Dwayne asks who won the 100,000. As we said before, we will get back to you on that. Okay. So it's getting a lot of the same question, interest rates. So you can just go back and watch this again. So for those who are listening, I don't want to repeat the same thing multiple times. So can you talk about the rates for debit and credit card use and who sets those? So Brenda, we don't actually set the rates for debit and credit card. We pass on rates that are set by our partners. And so the rates on the card usage are much higher than ACH or Wire because of the amount of fraud that they have to manage in that world. So generally people will, the fraudsters will make a charge on a credit card for crypto, withdraw the crypto to a place where you can't get it back, execute a chargeback on their credit card, and then they have free crypto. And so a lot of banks are wising up to that, but unfortunately, it's causing the rates on card purchases to be higher than we would like. But again, we don't set those rates. We generally pass on the rates from our partners. Okay, let me go back to Twitter here and see if there's any more questions and comments. Yep. So let's see what else. Yeah. So people are asking about deposits in other markets. Can I deposit? Here's another question. Can I deposit in the UK? I'm in Australia. Can I deposit? So yeah, we actually have a solution for you. So let me bring up my app while I'm talking. But if you go to abra.com and go to our website, let me do that right here from my screen. Hopefully you can see this. So I'm going to go to abra.com. So if you go to abra.com, you'll see on the homepage, you can actually buy Bitcoin, or let me just go right to abra.com. Abra, if I can type abra.com. We actually have kind of a buy widget that lets you choose pretty much any country in the world. So if I go to the UK, which is GB, right, for Great Britain, scroll, lots of options. Do it. There we go. So now I'm basically going to be able to deposit. I can even buy a stable coin. So let's say I want to buy TrueUSD, right, into the Abra app just to have it via like FasterPay, and I can earn 8%. It might cost me like 1% as a fee. So I'm going to scroll down. Wow, look at all the tokens we support here. It's crazy. Scrolling. Okay, so sorry, I should have done this. TUSD, where is it? There it is, TUSD. So right, so now I can basically buy in pounds TUSD, and we're working on integration of this directly into the app. But it shows me how many TrueUSD I'm going to get, and I can actually transfer those directly into the Abra app. And if I'm in the UK, I can use FasterPay. If I'm in Canada, I can use Interac, and I can actually deposit that directly with Abra. Right now, you can only access that via abra.com, and in the coming weeks, you'll be able to access it from the app itself, which is pretty cool. All right, so yes, there are lots of solutions, and we have solutions in like a couple of dozen countries, literally right now, for purchasing. So Arson asks, which trust partner does Abra use? We work with Prime Trust in the US, and they've been a fantastic partner for us. If you look at our terms of service via the app and the website, you can see what our terms look like for them. And I actually encourage you to read it. This is our money. We spend a lot of time on that, on the terms, making sure they work for the consumer as well as for Abra. And I think they're really good, very fair, very well written. And we've been very happy with what Prime Trust has done for us. And look, they're pretty conservative. They've actually shut off some other companies in the space that don't have our kind of tried and true practices. And so we're really proud of what we've accomplished there. Doug asks, can I buy an Abra hoodie and t-shirt? And the answer is yes, we actually have some items. At the bottom of abra.com, the webpage, there's a link to a place where you can actually order some shirts, and we're going to upgrade that soon. But for now, there's some stuff you can buy there. And Arson asks, did I see Grayscale announce Cardano? Actually, I didn't. Ben, maybe you saw that announcement. I actually didn't see it, but I'm not surprised. I mean, they're going to chase and follow the money, and obviously with multiple fund products, and Cardano's got super high investor interest. So yeah, let's see. Domingo says paying with credit card has the highest fees. Absolutely correct. So using a credit card for crypto should always be your last resort. We try to offer as many payment options as possible, and we leave credit card there really as a last resort. And it is not what I would recommend as how you lead with buying crypto. So if you're in the US, use ACH first. If you're doing larger amounts than 20K, you can use Bankwire. And like I said, use Abra.com with the other types of fees for other types of payment options for other countries, but then come back to credit card as a last resort option. And let's see. Dwayne says, thank you very much for you and the team taking the time to do these video chats. Not something that every CEO does. Speaks volumes as to the intent, Abra's intent with its customers. Well, that's certainly our pleasure to do this. We actually take a fair amount of time, the glitches this morning aside. Mr. Wizard is doing a great job. This is actually his first week, so I'm really happy that I have his help here. So this is great. So Marin, who you'll hear me refer to as Mr. Wizard now, is managing what you see on the screen. So it's been great to have him. So it takes a lot of the burden off of me for managing this. So let me go back to the YouTube feed to see if there's any more questions here. Will Abra look at commodities such as gold and also potentially other dividend paying options? I would love to offer the Paxos Gold or Pax Gold. I forget what it's actually called. It's something that I've been pushing our custody partners on, Charlie and the team at Paxos have done a great job with that product. So I'm hoping that it's something that they do add in the future. As soon as they add it, we'll add it. So Jamaica asks again, Cardano in Abra Earn. Jamaica, we talked about this earlier. It's way at the top of our list, and we want to add it. It's not up to us. We're waiting. Dinero asks, has Abra been following up on the FATF Financial Action Task Force, how they plan to exert control on crypto transactions? How will that affect Abra? So the FATF is kind of a neutral, semi-neutral body that oversees without a regulatory mandate, actually, as far as I understand it, money transfer mostly, and certain types of transactions. So if you've in the money transfer world, there's these kind of difficult to understand rules that companies like Western Union have to follow, and this group has been trying to apply these rules to crypto, and it's kind of tough to follow. Abra has been following it. Our compliance team is following it. We're well aware of their rules, and where required, we're following the rules. Most of you don't even know it's happening, and it's just the table stakes for being in the space, and it costs us money to do it. We do it, and we go about our business, and that's it at the end of the day. So there's a lot of things we do in the background that you all don't have to know about because you don't want to, in terms of compliance and helping follow the rules. And we obviously don't evade your privacy, but there's a lot of things we have to do to run a compliance service. Brenda says you're the only CEO doing these live talks. I hope that's not true, but we'll see. So Christian asks, when is there going to be an Abra coin? Christian, great question. Something that we're looking at. For legal reasons, I can't say anymore, but it's definitely something that we would love to do. Maybe not directly in Abra coin, maybe with some partners, but stay tuned. You never know. let's see, go back to Twitter, take a couple more questions. This hour's flown by. We got a little bit of a late start, so maybe we can go over if we have to. But so let's see. While I'm looking, Lala, any kind of key support issues that that we're hearing a lot about right now that you may want to address with everyone?
So I know, of course, a few individuals within the chat have already talked about tracks. We've talked about that earlier this morning. In addition to that, which you may have seen, especially if we have any of our Philippine users, some of the deposits that went through 7-Eleven were delayed. However, as of this morning, those have all been fixed. So if you have not seen it for any reason within your wallet, please feel free to go and reach out. If you have a ticket, drop it in the support chat that's going on right now on this YouTube, and I'll make sure to go ahead and have our team look into that, okay?
That's great. Thanks for that. Yeah, so that's for those of you who, I think 7-Eleven specifically refers to the Philippines, where we have cash deposits, so does not refer to 7-Eleven US, in case you're wondering, or Europe. Let's see. Take a couple more questions. When are you going to be adding Polygon to the Abra app? Good question. So big fan of what's going on with Polygon, but in terms of actually adding to the Abra app, it's kind of the same story, right? So we don't pre-announce anything in terms of adding coins unless it's like imminent within hours or days. And two, it's not up to us totally. We have to rely on our trading partners, our custody partners. I know I'm a broken record on this, and you're probably tired of hearing me say the same answer, but that's the answer. So Polygon is a coin that I'd love to add. I think it's a great project. I'm pretty bullish on it. So there's your answer to that one. Let's see. How about you, Ben? Anything you wanna add before we wrap up?
I'm a big fan of your show, Bill. Watch every week. It's great that you finally have production staff to really up the quality here.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess you're paid to say that, so I don't know. I have to put a little bit more weight on the unsolicited feedback from the audience, but I'll take any compliment I can get, even if I have to pay to hear it. So. That's the CEO ego at work, I guess. Cool. Well, any parting comments? Any other thoughts?
That's a little bit on the spot, but I know, of course, that this is the first time Ben and I have probably had the chance to jump on AMA in a while. So it's great to go and be a part of this conversation with all of our users. So thanks for including us.
No, I love the format. I think we'll definitely be doing more of this. So one of the benefits of this upgrade to the Mr. Wizard here in the background is that we're going to be able to pull in other people quickly. Actually, one of the things we were talking about is, can we start pulling in people from the audience to ask questions in real time, live and via Zoom. So I like the idea a lot. I'm a little gun shy of what might happen if we do it, but I think we will try it eventually and see how it goes. So stay tuned for that. Let's see. I think we'll call it there. Still seeing more questions, but some of them are repetition. So Russ, by the way, yeah, we did do a state of the market discussion at the beginning of the show. So if you watch the feed from the beginning, we will. There is an update on the market there. We're basically still in our accumulation mode, and I think we're going to come out of it soon. I think July is going to be a very volatile month. Actually, a couple more questions I will address that. So, do I think that the Tether price will fall soon? No, I don't think the Tether price will fall soon. It's basically backed 1-to-1. International users just don't care about US regulators. It's been unbelievably resilient over the years. I think usage of Tether will continue to drop. I think USDC will overtake Tether eventually because the US is such an important market, but Tether's not going anywhere. Arson asks, do we have any Lightning Network plans? So I'm super bullish on Lightning. I don't have any explicit plans to announce. We're working very hard on next generation payments ideas and features and requirements, but not not going to pre-announce anything there, but like I think I've told you all, when I first started talking about Lightning on the show last year was way too early. But now I think the technology has progressed, the number of Lightning nodes has progressed to the point where, I think it's real and I think it can really work. And that's exciting because, again, when Bitcoin starts hitting 100,000, 200,000, which I think is inevitable, mining fees are going to hit, insane numbers, right? Yeah. So my email made a comment, and that's your handle, not my email. The person my email on the chat said that our competitor might be offering higher rates. Look, just be weary of people who are subsidizing interest rates. We're telling you that if anybody is paying higher rates than Abra right now, they are highly likely subsidizing those rates, meaning they're using their own money to pay you a higher rate. This is a very bad practice, in my opinion, and is not going to end well. And so you don't want to be part of that. Trust me. If it's money that you're happy to just completely put at risk and then write off, maybe. But if this is cash that you really want to preserve principal on, I really believe Abra is the best way to earn yield today, and I truly believe that. Okay, all right. So let's wrap it. Let's call it there. Thanks everyone for joining, and apologies for the initial glitch, but glad we got it all worked out. In the meantime, have those of you in the U.S. And Americans around the world have a fantastic 4th of July weekend. And enjoy the fireworks, stay safe, and we will see you next week on Money Talks.